Good evening. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Matt, and today I'll be talking about how to string a men's lacrosse head. The finished product will look like this. Now, due to time constraints, I won't be walking you through how to exactly string a head because it can take up to 20 minutes, and I understand we only have 5 minutes. So I'll touch on the high points and some materials you're going to use in this process. You're going to want some tools. First and foremost, my personal favorite, the needle nose pliers. I'll talk about where and when you'll be using this in stringing a men's lacrosse head. Pair of scissors, and a lacrosse ball for measurement tactics. Now we're going to talk about a few parts of the head. First, top string. Top string are going to be these strings right in here. Now I do it a little differently because I know a few different styles of stringing that most don't. And I like to use this style because it keeps the mesh here a little tighter when you get to the top of the head. Now this is important because when the ball travels out of the head, you want a smooth release. And a smooth release comes from having mesh that's tighter at the top of the head as opposed to loose. This creates more rattle and the ball is going to come out a little differently, not in an exact straight line up the head like this. It can come out to the left or possibly to the right. So, talking about the top string, we have what is called the diamond top string technique, or Native American top string technique, whatever you'd like to call it. This, as I said earlier, pulls the mesh from essentially the bottom of the head to the top against the plastic up here. So typically you're just going to see basically 2 strings, where I'm pointing to right here, by themselves holding the mesh to the top of the head. Now we're making it tighter by bringing these diagonal strings here to pull the mesh up to the top of the head. Now this is where you're really going to use the needle nose pliers. Basically you're going to thread the string through the plastic here in one of the top holes. Then when you get to the point where your fingers can't do the work because the holes are too small, as are the strings, you engage the needle nose pliers. These essentially allow to help you tighten the strings here, here, and here. This ensures that you have a nice tight piece of mesh on your head. After that, you work on the sidewalls. Sidewalls being these strings which literally secure the mesh to the side wall of the head. Now, if you can see closely, we have a multitude of holes on the side of the head. Now, depending on a player's level of skill and preferences as they play, they're going to have this pocket region either very high or very low. Being that I like my pocket here in about what is considered mid-low, I will have it sit and bunch my mesh right here. Now again, there's several different ways to form a pocket. I have my own methods, others have different methods, yet they can actually create the same end here. So obviously you work from the top down in any head. So in my own experimentation, I have strung heads from the bottom to the top, and it creates a more warped pocket which sits a little higher regardless of where you bunch your mesh. And it just makes things a little more difficult when you're trying to undo it or tune up your head on the fly, considering most heads have holes that are kind of cut to be pulled in a downward position. So when you're actually pulling the strings against that, you can help to break the strings, which leads to worse play essentially. Again, I use the needle nose pliers so I keep my mesh really tight. Rules and regulations state that the ball cannot be so deep in the pocket that you see the top of it, and mine is just barely legal, which is a-okay. After that, you string the bottom string here, which closes off the mesh so the ball's not falling out the bottom. You can use any sort of string you like. You can use nylon fiber, or as I like to use, hockey lace, because it's a little bigger, a little more water resistant. After that, you throw in your shooting strings, which are your 4 strings here. They create a smoother release when the ball's coming out of the head. Sometimes we can have players put them very low, or maybe just one at all up top here. I like a very smooth release in what is considered a Canadian style head. So that means I have 4 straight bars. Thank you for watching. Good night.